An array of successes illuminates the past and, most importantly, the bright future of Jackson State University. Hundreds of millions of dollars in construction. Every program is fully accredited. Fastest growing producer of African American PhDs among HBCUs. #1 producer of African Americans with master degrees in biology. And JSU is research-intensive HBCU #1 when it comes to winning federal research dollars.
I think if you look at the institution that it has been in the last several years, especially since the current president has been on board, you will find that advancement of the programs, the faculty, and especially the grants received from extramural sources have demonstrated the value of this institution and its ability as an institution, which means the faculty and the students, but the ability to not only survive but do well in that environment of education and research. When we look at the financial situation of the state of Mississippi and of this institution, naturally because it's dependent upon the state, it is evident that we must have additional support. We must have that private support to give that margin of excellence in the research fields.
A margin of excellence is the path to JSU's future, a future that is about more than just survival.
Walk around the campus and you can see so much growth, but you have to look inside. And in 5 years, we will have programs that will benefit the 21st century. We will have endowed faculty positions. We will have scholarships for our students. We are in a technological world. We're in a very competitive world. And the students who are coming after us, they have to not only compete within the state of Mississippi, they have to compete across this country and throughout the world.
Jackson State University is committed to being uncompromisingly competitive, making sure that it has the very best academic programs with a learning and working environment that promotes the highest civic leadership, public service, and Mississippi's economic development. In order to meet our goals, to more effectively challenge minds and change lives, the university is launching the Campaign for Jackson State.
This is the largest campaign in the history of Jackson State. A few years ago, about $10 million was raised over about 6 or 7 years. We're trying to do $50 million in 5 years, and none of it is for capital. It's not for any brick and mortar. This is for programs and for students and for faculty. The challenges for us are several. One is that the state of Mississippi, like most states, is getting more and more out of the public education business, which means that we have to push more of the burden in terms of tuition onto our students. You know, it's part of the tradition of historically black colleges and universities. We've always had to do more with less, but Jackson State, for whatever reason, has always been just a little cut above. And our goal is to be the #1 HBCU in America, and sooner or later, hopefully in my lifetime, I'm pretty sure we'll be there.
Our legacy as a historically black university is undeniable because of its many incredible success stories. Our beginning in 1877 was that of a private school for freed slaves called the Natchez Seminary. From that, a modest teachers' college evolved, and in 1974 became a designated 4-year urban university with graduate programs and a few research programs. Jackson State is proud to draw most of its students from Mississippi. However, our students come from diverse academic, social, ethnic, economic, and geographic backgrounds. JSU is dedicated to making a difference in their future.
Being at Jackson State, having the money to finish school meant everything. It's my life. I went on to graduate from Jackson State University in 2001, and immediately afterwards I was working in New York at a major television network. If I had not had the education and the background and the means, the funding to help me finish school, I don't know where I would be today.
In these tight budgetary times, the need for scholarship dollars is more critical than ever. A majority of our students depend on financial assistance. The need is great, but money limited. For our young people to continue pursuing their educational goals, $20 million is needed to endow scholarships and fellowships at Jackson State.
Students nowadays find the cost of higher education steadily rising. Meanwhile, the financial aid that traditionally have been coming to them is sort of dwindling or holding pat. Therefore, there's a gap between the cost of higher education and the resources available to students. The campaign for Jackson State seeks to close that gap by providing supplements to the federal and state grants coming to students, and thereby giving them a supplement that they can afford higher education. Access to higher education is number one.
Our faculty is extremely important to Jackson State's tradition and future. They are fiercely loyal to and deeply care for our students. However, the bitter truth is they take home some of the lowest wages among their peers in the state of Mississippi and the southeastern region. For that reason, many of them leave. Higher salaries outside of the state lure these valuable assets to work elsewhere. This economic-driven exodus is a tremendous loss for Jackson State and Mississippi. One way to stop the outflow of JSU's dedicated and highly qualified teachers is to pay more for their services. For endowed chairs and professorships, the university is seeking $20 million.
We've made the transition from a teaching institution to a research institution, but we have real challenges trying to keep up with the salaries of research-level professors. We need endowed chairs, of which we only have one at Jackson State University, and endowed professorships.
Because of its storied history and location, JSU, Mississippi's only comprehensive urban campus in the capital city, situated near downtown Jackson, must continue to develop more than just the traditional components of a university. One innovative way this is done is through the Mississippi Learning Institute. In collaboration with the Jackson Public School District, where 70% of the faculty is JSU alumni, the Mississippi Learning Institute trains JSU's education majors and provides literacy instruction to these inner-city middle school students. This is an outstanding example of JSU's program enhancement, an area that needs $10 million.
And this is honestly the only fully functional pre-K through 20 public school university partnership in the country. We got $500,000 from the federal government to plan it. We got $4.5 million from the federal government to start it. But the problem is that in order to keep it going, we have to raise funds to support it.
As you have seen, most of the $50 million that will come from the campaign for Jackson State is earmarked for faculty and students. For a university like JSU, where high performance in the classroom is the top priority, the campaign goals are a prudent and responsible way to allocate the hard-earned gifts of this historic and first campaign for Jackson State. Recently, 16% of the registered students left campus, and there was nothing administrators could do but let them go. Think about it. 500 students who understood their need for higher education unfortunately had their dreams delayed or destroyed, all because the costs for the students and for Jackson State were too high. But the human costs are even higher for Mississippi through the loss of ideas and talents these students might contribute, thereby helping the state become a better place.
I want to build an institution that can serve not only those students today, but their children and their children's children and their children's children's children. And I think if we can do that, then we would have provided not only a service to the specific people that we serve, but also a service to America.
The Jackson State experience is now in its second great era, an era having global designs and aspirations to link the university, the Jackson metropolitan area, the state, and the nation to a common mission of teaching, research, and service. These deserving goals, we wholeheartedly believe, are worthy of the Campaign for Jackson State.